Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. This is Nishat Colleen. I'm a project manager at the City of Detroit's Office of Sustainability, and you are watching our webinar series. I'm so glad that you joined us. We have some great information coming up. But before we get started, I'm going to go ahead and introduce you a little bit to our office. We are the city's first Office of Sustainability. We were established in 2017, and it's our mission to facilitate healthy, green, vibrant, accessible neighborhoods where all Detroiters can benefit and contribute. And we will do that through collaborating between city departments and agencies, engaging and partnering among the city, citizens, and relevant organizations, including our important partners who are a part of this webinar, and improving process and policy that's internal to the city. Last year, we released the Sustainability Action Agenda, which is the first sustainability plan for the city. And we're really excited. We're coming up on a one-year anniversary of that agenda. So stay tuned for a good update from us in a little bit. The way we define sustainability is on this three-legged stool that you may have heard about before. You may have heard people, planet, and profit. We use the terms economy, equity, and environment. And sustainability is where the three of those things converge and where all three of them are being serviced and benefit. And what that means is meeting the needs of our current generation without sacrificing the needs of future generations. As I mentioned, our Sustainability Action Agenda came out last year. You can find it and a good summary of the agenda as well on our office's website, which is detroitmi.gov/sustainability. And over on the right-hand part of this slide, you can see our 4 outcomes organized in concentric circles. Those are healthy, thriving people. People are at the center of our action agenda. Affordable quality homes, clean, connected neighborhoods, and equitable green cities. Those 4 outcomes are organized into 10 goals. And some of the goals that we'll be focusing on today in our workshop is the ones under affordable quality homes. So saving where we can, making sure we're living in homes that help us live healthy lives and that are also affordable to be in. If you do have questions, you can shoot them over to our office. Our email address is sustainability@detroitmi.gov. So with that, I will go ahead and turn it over to our first presenter. Now I will introduce Quentin Turner, who is a Green Stormwater Infrastructure Community Organizer with Sierra Club Michigan Chapter. So Quentin, whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Hi, everybody. I'm Quentin Turner. I'm the Green Stormwater Infrastructure Community Organizer for the Michigan Chapter of the Sierra Club. The Sierra Club is one of America's oldest and largest environmental advocacy organizations. We have tens of thousands of members across the country. We've been around since 1892. The Michigan chapter itself has been around for about 50 years. And our mission is to help Michiganders explore, engage, and play in natural spaces in their community. We also do a lot of work around environmental advocacy, making sure that we are pushing forward environmental policy that is both beneficial for people, the planet, and profit, like Nishat had mentioned earlier. So what I'm going to go over with you guys today is how to construct your very own rain barrel. So a rain barrel is essentially what I have in front of me right here. This is something that you can use to capture rainwater that would be coming off of an impervious surface like your roof or the roof of your garage, and then capture it inside of this container and then use it for a later day. Rain barrels are really, really good because they help prevent stormwater and rainwater that would typically go into our sewer system, which then mixes with the wastewater that comes from our house, like our sinks and our toilet, eventually going into the sewer to the water treatment facility to be treated. It prevents that rainwater from getting in there, which allows more water to be in the sewer. It prevents the volume from overflowing. In Detroit, we have combined sewer systems where stormwater and wastewater mixed together, and if the water volume is too great, that can cause a lot of flooding, can cause a lot of damage. I think a lot of people might remember the giant flood that we had in Detroit in 2014. A part of that was because we had such a massive rainfall that the water that was in the sewer system from our wastewater and the water that was in the sewer system from the stormwater was just too much. So capturing stormwater is a great way to prevent things like that from happening, especially as climate change is occurring and we're seeing more and more large storms and large rainfalls in our summer and spring. So this is a great way to capture some stormwater on your property. We get our rain barrels from a company called myrainbarrel.com. They're one of our providers. We work with them to do a lot of rain barrel workshops. You can find them on their website. They sell these as well as the kits to construct them that we're going to go over today. This is a 220 liter food grade barrel, which is about 60 gallons of water. This actually used to hold olives, and actually it still has some Greek on it that you can see. So these are repurposed food grade rain barrels that we're working with. So if you were to get this just in its raw form, just not from My Rain Barrel, but it fell off the back of a truck or something and you found it, the first thing that you'd want to do is you'd want to drill 3 holes into it. Those 3 holes are going to be used for allowing water to get in and out of your barrel. So first we have our top hole here where the water is going to go in, and you just drill that in the lid on top. It doesn't have to be particularly large, just large enough to fit your downspout or whatever the water's coming from. Next, you're going to want to drill another hole near the top of the barrel, underneath the lid. This is your overflow. So once the barrel gets full and there's no more water that can fit in there, any extra water would come out here. And then lastly, at the very bottom, you're going to want to drill a hole for your spigot. This is where the water is going to come out for use, whether that's for gardening, washing your car, washing your windows. There's a lot of uses you can use this for. So the first thing you want to do is drill those 3 holes. Fortunately, like I said, we got this rain barrel from our supplier. They pre-drilled the holes in them, so that way we didn't have to do that beforehand. So they're all set up. Next, we're going to go over the tools that we're going to use, the materials we need to complete it, to make it a complete and functional rain barrel. So over here, I have a power drill, which I'm going to be using to drill in some screws. I have an adjustable wrench, which is going to come in handy a bit later, and some silicone gel. This is going to be used to help with sealing the different pieces going into the rain barrel. And this is waterproof, so it helps with keeping the barrel from leaking. Now, when you buy a barrel from myrainbarrel.com, you will get a kit that comes with it. And in that kit will be these things right here. You're going to have your spigot, which is what you're eventually going to attach to the bottom hole. And that's where your hose would go, or anything or where you would kind of attach your hosing that for the water to come out of your barrel. You're going to need 2 long screws to attach the spigot. You're going to get this. This is your overflow valve. This is going to go in that upper hole that I showed you guys, the smaller one. And this is going to attach either to a hosing of some sort so that when the water overflows, it can be directed somewhere. You're going to get this filter, which is going to go on your very top and your lid. It's going to prevent organic material or any sort of debris from falling into your barrel when you connect it to your downspout underneath your house. So this is going to go on top. It's going to be sealed in using these washers and screws. And then lastly, you will get an extendable downspout attachment, which you can then use to, move in different directions. And eventually it would go on top of your rain barrel like so, with your downspout attaching to it. The important thing about rain barrels is that you're attaching it to an impervious surface area. If you were to just leave this out in the field in open rain, it may not fill up very efficiently or very quickly. But if you have this attached to a downspout, then that downspout's attached to an impervious surface area like your roof. Even a 1/10 inch rainfall could fill this barrel up in about 5 minutes. So it can fill up really quickly. You can get a lot of water really fast. And that's why it's important to have the overflow too. So we're going to start attaching the various pieces to this rain barrel and to show you guys what it looks like when it's all done. So like I said, there are 3 holes, so that means there are 3 places that we're going to have to make sure that all of our attachments are. The first is going to be right here on top of the barrel, and I'm going to drill my filter in. So I'm gonna attach my washer like this, grab my screwdriver, and we're gonna drill this filter in. And like I said, this filter is gonna sit underneath the downspout, and it's gonna prevent any sort of random material from your roof, any random material from that's in your gutters, that's in your downspout from getting into your rain barrel. This is important because keeping organic material out of your rain barrel helps with preventing mosquitoes from breeding in your rain barrel because there's standing water in there. It also prevents any sort of just like random critters from getting inside, any rocks, any leaves, any nuts, things like that, you know, especially if you're living near a tree. The type of stuff that can get into your gutter could get into your rain barrel. We want to prevent that to keep it clean and to keep it still usable. So I'm going to drill this in here. And I got my last washer and my last screw right here. And I'm going to drill that in right there. All right, this is what the filter will look like. So the water will go in, but it'll keep a lot of debris out. If you want it to look even, if you want an extra layer of filter or have it look like especially nice, you could even put some landscaping rocks on top of this. The water will go through the rocks. It'll prevent even more particulate matter from getting there. And it looks pretty nice too. So it's a great way to do some landscaping with your rain barrel. Next up is our second hole right here for the overflow valve. So we're going to be using this brass valve here, and we're going to screw this into there, and we're going to seal it with silicone gel. Now, all of the metal materials that go into the rain barrel, the spigot and the valve here, are made out of brass because they're rust proof. You know, these things are going to be coming in contact with water pretty frequently, so we want to make sure that they're not going to rust on us. So you see this overflow valve has two types of threads. It might be hard to see on the video, but it does have two types of threads. Over here are large threads, and over here are kind of smaller threads. The large threads are going to be where you attach your hose, and the smaller threads are going to be the side that you put into your barrel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach some silicone gel onto these smaller threads, and I'm just going to go around like this, attach some gel. And like I said, this gel is waterproofing. It's not 100% necessary, but you know, if you find that your valve is in a little loose or you're getting a lot of leaking, it can be really useful to help prevent that. And this stuff is it's easily purchasable online, you know, but you could also, in normal times, get it at your hardware store. So we're just going to first screw this in a bit with our hands, just so that we can get a nice tight fit. Eventually, though, it's going to be too tough to screw in just with your hands. And that's when you're going to need some tools to help finish the job. So I have an adjustable wrench right here that I can use to clamp down on this. And I can use that to keep turning and eventually get it in. Now, you know that you're done screwing this in when the nut on the valve is flush against the side of the barrel. So we're getting close. And it's okay if you smear a little bit of that silicone gel on the side. You can clean it up real easy with just a rag or some paper towel. It's not a big problem. You want to make sure you do your best not to clamp onto your threads, because then you can mess up your connection to your hose eventually. So you want to try your best to keep it onto the nut and keep turning it. It doesn't have to be just super tight, but you just want it to be flush, kind of like this. So that's our overflow valve. You can attach a hose to this that could eventually connect to another barrel if you had another one. And any overflow from this barrel could go into the second barrel, or you can have it flow out into a rain garden or a vegetable garden. So that way you're irrigating your flowers and your plants. Or you can just have it go to a draining area. So typically when it rains, let's say in a forest, the rain will come down and then it seeps into the forest floor. And that is called perviousness. That's pervious soil. So the rain goes into the ground. That's its natural route. In cities and urban areas, we have lots of pavement, lots of streets, lots of roofs, and that's called imperviousness. So that means when the rain hits it, it doesn't go into the ground. It has to go somewhere. So rain gardens and rain barrels are both examples of ways that we can channel that water back into someplace useful for us. Typically, that's why we have our storm drains in our streets. The water hits the pavement, flows into the sewer system. But because we are having so many intense storms over these next couple of years, we want to try to avoid that as much as possible. So we want to capture it either in our rain barrels or have it drain back into the ground with our rain gardens. Now the last piece is going to be our spigot. I like to turn the barrel on its side for this, give it a good mount, and then you're gonna have to pop this into the hole right here. It may take a little bit of muscle, but that's okay, it should be tight. Also, if you would like, you can put a little bit of silicone on this as well to give it that extra seal. All right, you don't need a lot. And then hear it pop. I don't know if you guys heard that or not, but it's a loud, just like pop noise, and that's how you know you got it in. We have 2 more screws. These ones are slightly longer that we're going to use to secure it. One. And 2. All right. And that's it. So now this rain barrel is 100% ready for use. Now, like I mentioned before, this is 220 liters, nearly 60 gallons. That means when this barrel is completely full, it'll weigh over 500 pounds. Water is very, very heavy. So you want to make sure that you have this elevated onto a very strong base. I would recommend using cinder blocks. You can level them 3 up and then 3 across. And that should be high enough and strong enough and sturdy enough to hold this. But that elevation both allows for gravity to have the water feed out of the spigot, and it also prevents your barrel from depressing the ground that it sits on. If you put this on like a wooden table, it's just going to crush the table because it gets so heavy. But yeah, this is essentially it. So what you can use this for is you can use the water to clean your windows on the side of your house, which prevents you from using water that you would use just from a spigot outside your house, which will help lower your water bill if you use the spigot that often. You can use this to water a garden or to water plants in your yard, to water your grass, or to clean your car. So that's all. These are all uses for this water. One thing that you should not use this water for is drinking. This is not potable water. It's not safe to drink, but it is safe to use for cleaning and gardening. So yeah, that's a very simple way to make a rain barrel, 3 easy steps, and you have it ready to go. And they're readily accessible from a number of different providers that we prefer, myrainbarrel.com, and they've worked in the community. They're a local organization, they're a local business. And yeah, that's all I got. So thanks a lot for joining me, and thanks a lot for taking the time to watch our workshop. And I hope that you guys enjoy the rest of the workshops and lessons that we have today.
Quentin, thank you so much. This is Nishat again from the Office of Sustainability with the City of Detroit. If there are any other resources or tips or anything like that for having a rain barrel, where would you suggest folks go online to find more resources?
Yeah, I would definitely go to myrainbarrel.com's website. They do have a great FAQ there that talks about rain barrels and their role. They also talk a lot about composting there as well. The Sierra Club Michigan chapter, we do rain barrel workshops typically in the community at least 3-4 times a year. This will be our first one this year, but we do plan on having more. So please, you can visit us at sierraclub.org/Michigan, and you can find out more about the rain barrel workshop opportunities coming up. I would also like to say that we, as well as the next presenter, Friends of the Rouge, we work together on a program to help people receive rain gardens called Rain Gardens to the Rescue. Applications are out now. The rain garden that you receive is completely free. You just need to attend 5 workshops that we're planning right now. And then we'll help you with the design and then installation of your very own rain garden, either into your front lawn or your side lawn, depending on where your downspouts are. It's a very easy program. We love to do it. It's a lot of fun. You get to meet a lot of people within your neighborhood. And I believe Cindy can talk more about it as well, but I just wanted to share that. And I'll make sure that the link to the application is shared out to you, Nishat, so you can, get it to everyone who's viewing today.
Thank you so much, Quentin. Again, that was Quentin Turner, the Green Stormwater Infrastructure Community Organizer at Sierra Club Michigan Chapter. If you have any questions on anything that you saw in his presentation, the website for Sierra Club Michigan Chapter is sierraclub.org/Michigan. And if you have any other questions about the webinar series or about our office, you can email us at sustainability@detroitmi.gov. Thank you.